that 57,000?
Yeah.
Oof.
Hey guys, Krisha here. Please be cautious of any fake comments and emails you may receive from people pretending to be Mango Research. Sean and I will never, ever contact you for investment opportunities or anything of that sort. To get in touch with the real Mango team, make sure to join our official Discord chat using the link in the description below. Stay safe out there, and remember, do it Mango. And what's up, you guys? Welcome to the Mango Grove. My name is Krisha, and this is today's Bitcoin and Ethereum analysis video. I have Sean with me today. Sean, say hi.
Good morning, everyone, and a happy Sunday. Krisha, Bitcoin making moves, having that poke up to that 200 moving average, like we discussed yesterday.
Well, Bitcoin is having a fun Sunday along with us, right? Making some serious moves. So with this, guys, there's going to be a lot to talk about. Yesterday, unfortunately, we did not have time to cover the weekly time frame on Bitcoin, and so we will be doing that today because, well, we close the week tomorrow.
Yep.
So we'll be going over the weekly, and then we'll be boiling down to some of the lower time frames and, you know, just sort of unraveling price action on that. And only then will we be jumping on over to Ethereum. And Ethereum, Sean, is looking freaking phenomenal. So guys, remember, if you want us to cover any of the altcoins that you are looking at, take this opportunity to get down to the comments section and tell us which altcoin you want us to cover. I know some of you think that, hey, because Mango covered say Cardano yesterday, we cannot vote for Cardano again. It wouldn't be right. No. Just go ahead and vote for whatever it is that you want to vote for. Okay, even if it means repeating a coin.
Yeah, by all means, do it.
Yeah,
be like Jack. Jack is relentless in voting for Cardano every single time. Love that guy.
So yeah, take this opportunity to tell us which altcoin you want for tomorrow. And
I do want to highlight a couple of comments over here from Semayata. I love this guy coming in whenever he drops into the seed program, and he just drops so much energy. He's talking about my energy in here, or our energy in here, but honestly, this guy, I love this guy. He's always so excited to learn.
Yeah.
So big shout out to you. And Elena over here, she says, my confidence as a trader has increased in relation to my commitment to watch your videos daily. And guys, you have no idea how much that helps. Just putting yourself around people who are doing what you want to do, right? If you want to learn from, you want to learn a particular skill, you want to learn a particular trade, I think the best way to do it is to put yourself around a community that is as absorbed in it as you want to be, right?
Yeah,
and just
exactly.
automatically, just by being around those people all the time, right, on a daily basis, even if it's literally 20 minutes a day, right, to just quickly watch a video, even if it's 15 minutes, right, the vocabulary, the lines on the chart, the trend lines, etc., you're going to absorb it. So yeah, put yourself around the right community and success will just follow it.
Exactly. You'll find it'll surprise you as to how much you grow in time and the kind of mental models you can really derive from these kind of communities. So speaking of communities, guys, if you are looking for a community, well, come on out and join the Mango Discord public chat. We got some amazing people in there, and yeah, there's going to be much to learn. So Sean, are you ready to get into the charts?
Let's do it.
Cool beans, Bitcoin on the daily time frame. Alrighty, so there's much that's happened here. The first thing that I noticed is that yes, Bitcoin closed well. We put in a brand new high. However, this was a region of resistance that we were looking at yesterday, which was the 200 simple moving average. And guys, I want you to see how aggressively that 21 EMA is just sloping up, grinding up to price, as opposed to, well, the other way around. So question is, can we see a rejection here? Do we see another move to the upside with price just breaking the 200 simple? So yesterday on the C chat, Sean, I was actually I made a comment there. I'm like, watch Bitcoin just, you know, plow through the 200 simple moving average, because I was so excited with this move that I zoomed out of my chart, especially on the daily time frame, looking at historic price action, and I noticed that every time freaking Bitcoin has had like a long consolidation underneath the 200 simple, every time it gets up to the 200, when we're sort of grinding up, it just breaks right through.
Yeah.
it breaks right through, because everyone's sort of expecting that resistance. But here it may be giving people an opportunity. Let's see. For that, we're going to go ahead and put on the Ichimoku cloud. Okay, that's the first thing that I want to start with. I'm also going to go ahead and put on that 10 simple. So what it is that I am looking at. So Sean, I'll give them my thoughts first, and then you can follow with yours. Right now, for me, it's the ebb and flow of price action, right? Even if we get rejected here, the next region of contention I'll be looking for only comes in at that 10 SMA, which comes in at around $41,445, okay? Of course, subject to change, because this is a simple moving average, which is also grinding up. Ultimately, guys, I'm looking for that structure. And when I say structure, I'm looking for the higher highs to be maintained. So far, Bitcoin is doing a freaking fantastic job of maintaining that higher high structure. And I'm looking for a higher low structure as well. So even if price comes down, I'm looking for either a pickup at the 10 SMA or the 21 EMA. It's only once we lose this low right here, allow me to just clear my chart very quickly. This low comes in at around 37,300. It's only once we lose that will this picture really change. Okay, will this picture start tilting bearish? Until then, this is powerful, powerful price action from the bulls. Now, a day ago, I think a couple of days ago, day before, I highlighted a possible pattern play, Sean, to the seedlings, and it was this.
But handle, eh?
It was a cup and handle play, okay? And if you put on your volume, you're going to see that we have volume to support that as well. Okay, so if I just, now let's go ahead. Apologies. Let's go ahead and, draw in that neckline. And what do you see here? We have taken out the neckline, effectively activating.
And retested it too.
And, and it was a nice, clean retest. Nice. Right? We've effectively broken that neckline, had a nice, clean retest, and this pattern, guys, is now active.
So what would the measured move be? She's excited.
Are you guys ready for the measured move? Let's get a drum roll, please. And boom!
Is that 57,000?
Yeah.
Oof. Oof.
$57,300 is going to be the measured move. What's really cool about the measured move, okay, just with the overall picture right now, the overarching picture, is the fact that if I look at the breakdown point, and remember, this breakdown point, guys, we've been talking about it since Bitcoin broke down, which is $47,500 going all the way up to that $48,000 region. This effectively marks that midpoint, okay, from where we have broken out from to the top, which is the measured move. That is the midpoint, right? So that there's a lot of confluence there. And while 57,300 is the measured move, I will still be looking for how price reacts off that midpoint. I'll be giving more precedence to the midpoint as opposed to the measured move. That midpoint, Sean, taking that out is going to be freaking important. That's what's going to really propel Bitcoin to these highs here at 57,000, going all the way up to the highs at 60K.
That's really interesting, Krisha. That 48,000 level is essentially lining up perfectly with a level that I'm looking at. So at the moment, I'm not looking at any of the lower time frames. I am keeping an eye on the mid time frames, but my eyes are pretty much on the weekly at the moment, because we are closing the week. So we should be talking about the weekly today. And if you turn on your Ichimoku on the weekly, you're going to see that the Tenkin is lining up pretty much with your midpoint right over there, right? Yeah. So that 47,000 to 48,000 region is going to be really important. Going on over to the mid time frames as well. So the weekly and the 2-day are going to be the two time frames I want to keep an eye on. And you're seeing the top of the cloud, edge to edge trade activated, right? So I like the 2-day edge to edge trade a lot better than the daily edge to edge trade, primarily because the cloud is green. We had underlying support on the 21 EMA and confluence over there. So by the way, shout out to you, Wolvie, if you're paying attention to this one. This is the kind of edge to edge trade that I like to look for, right? Confluence across multiple time frames. Cloud is also giving us that extra confidence. We have more of a flat structure in the cloud as opposed to the declining structure that we had on the daily cloud. So these are the kind of things that you want to look for that edge to edge trade. That being said, Krisha, top of the cloud, Kijun coming in at around that 47,000 region. So yeah, I agree that this mid zone over here is going to be really important. And once we take that out, if we take that out, that's when we can get excited about that big move towards that 57,000 region. So yeah, I'm on the same page, Krisha. Pretty much exactly the same page.
Yeah. In fact, I think it's going to be more of, I think you're right there in that it's going to be more of a zone of resistance as opposed to let's say like one line of resistance, okay? Because there's a lot of confluencing factors, and the thing is that you guys need to understand that the volatility on the chart right now, it's picked up, right? So if you're looking at a zone of resistance, the zone compared to prevailing volatility right now is it's not much, okay? And that's why I'm going to be giving precedence to an entire zone, and this right here would technically be the zone. Okay, so watch out for how price reacts off of that region. There's going to be an upper threshold to the zone and a lower threshold. The upper threshold coming in at around 48,445. The lower threshold coming in at 46,900-ish, give or take. Okay, so look at how price reacts off of that. Remember, we had a similar thing that I just moved. I just took it off my chart right now. But we were oscillating within that zone, that monthly Tenkin, monthly Kijun zone that I'd drawn out for you, and that's been on my chart now for weeks on end. We could see something very similar play out here, but instead of support, now it's turned into resistance.
Yep, exactly. Okay? So that's essentially exactly how you play it. The way we were playing it towards the downside, waiting for that zone to be cleared convincingly, and now we're waiting for this green zone to be cleared.
Exactly, and it's only once we do that will this picture really change. Okay, that this is when the bulls really start getting into control, back into control, because at this point I'll be looking for the next move only coming in at 57,000, going all the way up to the highs at around 60K. So as far as the weekly, let's just get back on over to the weekly and tell them what it is that we're looking for on the weekly. And you know, it's trades like this, charts like this that makes it very easy. And we're always looking for these high probability trades to keep it mango. So I want you to notice what was happening here, just price relative to the cloud, right? We had a beautiful C-span play, right?
As soon as the Kijun, retested the Kijun, people got scared and so looking for the higher low buy, which it was. And this was a trade, like a perfect C-span trade handed to you on a platter that was lining up with a pullback on the daily time frame that was pretty much needed for bullish structure to be a lot more healthy, right? Because if you go back to the daily, so keep an eye on these weekly candles here, Krisha. They look just like three easy candles drifting towards the upside, right?
Right.
And if you zoom in over to the daily, this was aggressive. Okay, yeah. We had green after green after green after green after green, and when we got the pullback, all the bears stepped in and said, "Ha! I told you so." Right? Bitcoin's going back down to 19K, and you know what? We could have, but it was too early to be looking for that. Why? Because Bitcoin hadn't even put in a higher low yet. So this pullback had so much buffer through a structural perspective before you start getting bearish, right? At the same time, though, you could be more cautious on it before getting too aggressive and look for the higher low before getting too bullish. Now, however, we do have the higher low, you have the higher high, and Bitcoin. So essentially, you can mark it out this way, guys. Let me just go ahead. Right, structurally, right? I'm marking out the swings. Multiple ways you can do it, but this is one of the easier ways. Let's mark out this as a lower high, this as your low, this as your higher high, this as your higher low, and now you have your higher high again. So Krisha, the green zone is right above the 200 moving average.
The top of the cloud too.
Yeah, top of the cloud.
Right, top of the cloud to you too.
So yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing, Krisha.
Yeah, so this is what we're looking at, guys. Green zone. We're back over the green zone. That's when the trend traders can really step in, because at that point you can actually catch some high probability bullish trades to the upside. So back on over to the weekly, I just want to see where we're at. And yeah, notice how the green zone, Sean, the bottom of the green zone marks out the Tenkin right there. So far it's looking good, but we are approaching resistance. If, of course, we start getting back up over that 200 simple moving average there, allow me to just get rid of this arrow. It's coming in the way. All right, this is it. Okay, so of course, once we start living over that daily 200 simple moving average, we may be clear to get up to this weekly Tenkin. which comes in at around 46,885, which is a good 5% to the upside still. So we may have that much of a move still left on this before we hit that major point of resistance overhead. As far as downside targets go, I'm going to be looking at the 10 SMA going all the way down to this $40,600 region. So it's going to be more of a zone of support. Essentially, I'm trying to hunt for the next higher low to be set in to maintain that bullish structure. The 10 SMA, guys, comes in right now at around 41,300. What about you, Sean? Any downside targets for you?
Yeah, so I do want to present the bearish case. And while we do have the current low all the way down over here, okay, the next high low that does get set in may set the tone for the bearish case. So what do I mean by that? Let's say we come down over here, okay, we test the 10 SMA, lose it, okay, and we put in the higher low, perhaps somewhere in between the 21 EMA and the 10 SMA, somewhere around here, right? Then there could be a potential scenario where the 10 SMA drifts up a little bit, right? We come up, test it one more time, get rejected, put in a lower high, and now we have a lower high here, and then we come in and put in a lower low, because now once we have a new higher low, that sets a boundary line for the bulls to defend, or for the bears to take out, right? So now the bears don't need to take this structure out anymore, they can take out this structure. But keep in mind that would still just be a downtrend on the daily time frame. This is one of the reasons why I want to be keeping an eye on the 4-day, the weekly, and perhaps as high as the 2-day for our real trade opportunities. But again, we can use the momentum of the lower time frames. Remember, Kusha, our bullish undertone was set from the monthly time frame, right? Remember, that's what gave us our edge over every other community out there, because we kept our eyes on the bigger picture, and we implore all of you too watching at home to please keep an eye on the bigger picture.
Because that's what's ultimately going to keep it mango, and it's going to tell you where the direction of least resistance lies. Now so this is pretty much, I don't want to give them too many targets to the downside, too many targets to the upside. It's a very critical juncture that Bitcoin's at right now. We're sitting right smack underneath 200 simple. So it really depends on if we break 200, I'm saying up we go to the next point of resistance. Remember, green box territory. And if we start breaking down, then look for the 10 SMA going all the way down to that $40,500 region. So yeah, this is all we have for you for Bitcoin. Sean, are you ready to get on over to Ethereum?
Yep, let's do it.
Cool. Altcoin of the day is Ethereum. Now remember, guys, if you want us to cover any of the coins that you are looking at, go ahead and let us know which one it is that you're looking at. And if you're enjoying this video so far and you're finding this informative, definitely smash those likes, because that really helps out Mango. Cool beans? Cool beans. Let's get on over to Ethereum. FUSD, which chart do you want to use? Bitstamp, Binance?
Coinbase, Kraken, Coinbase.
Coinbase. Okie dokie. So here we have Ethereum on the daily time frame. Nice clear chart. Let's actually get on over to the weekly time frame. Here we are. Ethereum is looking strong. I'm just gonna mark some horizontals. I'll tell you how I'm sort of looking at this chart, and then Sean, you can come in with your thoughts on this, because I believe you posted a trade setup on the Seed Setups chat last week. Correct? So perhaps you can maybe fill them in on that. I think that'll be an interesting sort of thing, right? So the way I'm looking at this, guys, is currently just horizontals, and honestly, the Mango dynamic. Keeping it very simple for Ethereum. I want you guys to notice how the tempo right now has gone off on ETH, and the tempo has been freaking on point. So tempo has gone off, bullish. The dynamic has now turned green. We're living over the op line, as well as this major horizontal coming in at around $2,720. Honestly, guys, I'm expecting a an edge to edge on this range right now. So the next region of contention I look for, honestly, comes in at the highs at around $3,970. That's what I personally am looking for. I'm keeping Ethereum very easy for myself. What about you, Sean? What it is that tell them what you're looking at on this chart, as well as about the trade setup that you posted last week on the Seed Setups chat.
So I think you pretty much nailed it over here, Krisha. I was essentially looking at the Mango dynamic, not just on the USD pairing, but as well as on the Bitcoin pairing. So ETHUSD and the ETHBTC, and we are drawing comparisons between how the two of them were holding structure on the Mango dynamic and holding this support zone. Now, I'm not going to put up the ETHBTC pairing over here because I believe we are focused on the USD pairing for these altcoins. But essentially, what I do want you guys to keep an eye on over here are these lows over here, right? We put in a low and then we put in a lower low. But the next low that we did come in to put was a higher low compared to the previous low. So that gave us our initial clues that, okay, something is happening over here. Then we closed above the dynamic again. Now, Krisha, essentially what you could look at this, okay, through a psychological perspective at the very least, is a falling channel, okay, a falling structure on over to a higher level support. And again, this is going back to one of the things that we've been playing recently. It's not the prettiest of falling structures, right? It's not the easiest to spot out. It gives you that rounded bottom on the lower time frames, and that's essentially what you can see within the weekly structure here. If you zoom into the 2-day or the daily, you will find a falling trend on over to a weekly support, and you had these high lows over here. So essentially, I believe it was a week ago, we said, hey, it's time to start keeping an eye on the FBDC pairing. And why FBDC to some of you is because if you are trading with Bitcoin as your base account, unit of account as to how you measure your trading performance, then at that point you got to always ask yourself, is it worth me going into a trade, or is it just better? Am I better off just staying in Bitcoin? So if I want to put on risk, right, I want my altcoin to be actually outperforming Bitcoin, right? So ETHBTC was what I was watching, and now ETHBTC was beginning to look really good as well. And ETHBTC, ETHUSD, both of them holding structure throughout this big bear move that we had over the past few months was extremely bullish, which is why, Krisha, I think the last time we spoke about Ethereum and Cardano, I was like, I think Ethereum, people are downplaying it. We need to keep an eye on this one, and we're seeing all the hype follow now.
Yeah,
late to the party.
The FBDC chart too, guys, it's looking really good. Just yesterday I got a message, or rather someone asked me, Lindeka from the Mango Seed program, she had asked me whether my system, I had a system on ETHBTC, whether it went off or it's giving us any more golden nuggets. My ETHBTC system actually got invalidated. So before, I believe it was sometime in the month of May, June, end of June, it flipped bearish, telling me that ETHBTC was going to go down. But 1 week later, Ethereum had a nice rally. Not a rally, but it held its levels, whereas Bitcoin actually lost its levels relative to USD, and that flipped the system once again. So right now, the ETHBTC my ETHBTC system is telling me that Ethereum is in control. So I just want to make sure that everyone sort of knows that out there, because I did give you guys this information. So for those of you who missed it, my system is telling me that Ethereum is the stronger contender here. Okay, so just a quick heads up on that. So I think Ethereum is looking absolutely phenomenal.
Krisha, and would you say there's a pattern of some sorts going on over there? Possible kind of W, like a long W over here, right? Let me just go ahead and delete all these squigglies. Right, so essentially I'm looking at this, and then this, and then we could have a measured move, right, of something like this. Now again, correct me if I'm just drawing nonsense, but it does line up with the breakdown point from around 3,500-ish, so I'd be watching that too.
Yeah, the only one that I was looking at was pretty much this W, but I'm sure a lot of you already caught that one. This one was right here, for those of you who can see it. Right? You can see it a lot better on those lower time frames. So you can get on over to your lower time frames and just, take a look at this. This would have taken, well, what do you know, Ethereum all the way up to the level that it's currently hovering at, right? And this is how measured moves can work out well. However, always, if you really had to prioritize your horizontals and your measured moves, horizontals first and then measured moves. Okay, your horizontals always take precedence. So just a note on that. So far, I think Ethereum is looking good. We closed the weekly here. I'll be looking for 3.9K next. Also, I'll be keeping an eye out on the midpoint. remember guys, that midpoint will help you really determine whether or not an underlying asset is going to see that continuation. So far, I've been using it and it's been working very, very, very well. Okay, so even on the lower time frames, if we start respecting this region, we start taking out $3,200 to the upside, I'm saying further up we go. And these are not going to be small ranges. From here, from where price is currently at to the midpoint, okay, that's a good 6%. From the midpoint to 4K, that's 20%. Okay, so keep it very simple for yourself and understand what levels you have above you and what levels you have underneath you, right? Because that's going to essentially help you set in those invalidation points. Sean, anything else to add to the Ethereum analysis before we wrap this up?
No, we can go ahead and take a quick look at the Ichimoku to see if it's giving us anything up. Actually, it does seem a bit messy on the Ichimoku, so yeah, I've not been looking at this at least on the weekly time frame, perhaps on some other time frames, but we can take a look at those on another day. Since we are closing the weekly, I want you guys to keep your eyes focused on the weekly time frame. But hey, closing above the 10K would be a good sign, right? So regardless, today's weekly close is going to be important. Personally, I'm keeping it simple for myself. Similar story with Cardano, and hey, we're keeping it mango.
Yes, sirree. Now, guys, this is all we have for you for today. We hope you enjoy your Sunday shenanigans. And with this, trade safely, trade stress-free, trade the mango way, trade the easy way. Ciao.
Ciao.